Hello, and welcome to Bedtime with Birds. I'm Courtney Dawn, and I'm so glad you're with us tonight. Our hearts ride with you. We are birds on the same wind. Let's read a story, shall we? Tonight we have one of our favorites. We have our Noodle with us, and we have a book that we just love. We have Miss Nelson is Back. Have you read this one, boys and girls? It's such a good book by James Marshall. I just love this one. I think you're going to love it too. Here we go. Miss Nelson is Back by James Marshall and Harry Allred. One Friday, Miss Nelson told her class that she was going to have her tonsils out. I'll be away next week, she said, and I expect you to behave. Yes, Miss Nelson, said the kids in 207. Boys and girls, have you had a substitute teacher before? That can be tough, can't it? But at recess, it was another story. Wow, said the kids, while Miss Nelson is away, we can really act up. Not so fast, said a big kid from 309. Haven't you ever heard of Viola Swamp? Who? Said Miss Nelson's kids. Miss Swamp is the meanest substitute in the whole world, said the big kid. Nobody acts up when she's around. Oh, said Miss Nelson's kids. She's a real witch, said the big kid. Oh, said Miss Nelson's kids. I'll just bet you get the swamp, said the big kid. Swamp sounds mean. On Monday morning, Miss Nelson's kids were all in their seats. They were very nervous. Some of them had not slept all weekend. If we get the swamp, I'll just die, said one kid. They heard footsteps in the hallway. Slowly, the knob turned and the door opened. It was Mr. Blansworth, the principal. I shall personally take over this class, he said. Miss Nelson's kids were so relieved, but they soon learned that Mr. Blansworth was not a lot of fun. All morning, Mr. Blansworth tried to amuse the class with his corny card tricks. Oh, brother, said the class. That afternoon, Mr. Blansworth showed the class his favorite shadow pictures. This is kid stuff, said the class. The next day, Mr. Blansworth demonstrated his favorite bird calls. They were not a success. And for 2 days, Mr. Blansworth showed slides of his goldfish, Lucille. Miss Nelson's kids had never been so bored. While dusting erasers in the schoolyard, 3 of the ringleaders of 207 discussed the situation. Something will have to be done, they said. We must get rid of Blansworth. And they hatched a plot. After school, they painted and sewed and borrowed some old clothes, and they practiced some very difficult stunt work in the backyard. The next day, they weren't in class. Well, that's too bad, said Mr. Blansworth. They'll miss all the excitement. Mr. Blansworth was about to show the class his collection of ballpoint pens. That doesn't sound exciting. From all over the world, when someone came to the door, and the door opened. Oh, look, said the class. Miss Nelson is back. Mr. Blansworth was surprised. You're back earlier than we expected, he said. The tall and lumpy Miss Nelson didn't speak. Said the class, her throat must still be sore. Are you sure you're well enough? Said Mr. Blansworth. She's sure, said the kids. Well, in that case, said the principal, I'll be getting back to the office. Nice to have you back, Miss Nelson. And he left the room. Hot dog, cried the class. We got rid of Mr. Blansworth. Now we can do just as we please. And at the stroke of 10, the kids from 207 left the building. No one stopped them. They went straight to the movies, where they saw The Monster That Ate Chicago. Twice. This is really living, they said. Afterward, they went to Lulu's, where they stuffed themselves silly. But soon, they made a serious mistake. Heading back to school, they passed Miss Nelson's house. Miss Nelson couldn't believe her eyes. Those are my kids, she said in a scratchy voice. What are they doing out of school? And who is that with them? Miss Nelson telephoned Mr. Blansworth to see what was going on. You're not Miss Nelson, said Mr. Blansworth. Miss Nelson is back. And he hung up. Can't fool me, he said. Said Miss Nelson. Something will have to be done. And she went to her closet. Back in 207, Miss Nelson's kids were spending an agreeable afternoon. They were very pleased with themselves. We should do this more often, they said. They did not notice a figure in the hall. Slowly the knob turned, and the door opened. My name is Viola Swamp. Yipes! Cried the kids. The swamp! That's right, said Miss Swamp. And I'm here to whip this class into shape. Get back in those desks on the double. The class did as it was told. The big kid from 309 was certainly right. Miss Swamp was a real witch. She knew how to get results. The class did a whole week's worth of work in no time. We shouldn't have gotten rid of Blansworth, they said. Pipe down, said the Swamp. Or, just then something under a desk attracted her attention. It was a mask. Aha, said Miss Swamp. So that's your little game. And she tried on the mask, just as Mr. Blansworth stepped into the room. Mr. Nelson, said Mr. Blansworth, I'm of the opinion that someone has been impersonating you. Uh-oh, whispered the kids. You don't say, said Miss Swamp. Probably just some kids acting up. I'm sure it won't happen again. And Mr. Blansworth left. And it won't, will it? Said Miss Swamp to the class. Because the swamp will be watching. A minute later, Miss Nelson appeared. I'm back, she said. Hot dog, cried the kids. Are we glad to see you? Didn't you have fun with Mr. Blansworth? Asked Miss Nelson. Said the kids. They decided not to mention Miss Viola Swamp, but they wondered why Miss Nelson hadn't seen her in the hall. The end. Oh, wasn't that fun? Those were tricky students, weren't they? We shouldn't try to trick our teachers, should we? Wasn't that fun, boys and girls? Should we do some jokes today? Let's try a couple. Why did the baseball player go to jail? He stole second base. Noodle, wasn't that funny? Oh, Noodle hit his face. I thought it was funny. Did you think it was funny? All right, what's our next one? How did Benjamin Franklin feel about discovering electricity? He was shocked. That was a good one. What do you call cheese that doesn't belong to you? Nacho cheese. That's a good one. Last one. How much did the butcher charge for his venison? $1. That was a good one. I like that one. All right. Well, let's go to our next story today. Are you ready? This is a fun one. This one is a counting adventure. Click, clack, splish, splash. And it comes to us by Doreen Cronin and Betsy Lewin. Click, clack, splish, splash. It's not fun to say. A counting adventure. Are you ready, boys and girls? One farmer sleeping, 2 feet creeping, 3 buckets piled high, 4 chickens standing by. Five cows type a note. Do we remember these cows from one of our stories? 6 goats lead the boat. Load the boat. 7 pigs lead the way. 8 sheeps decide to stay. 9 mice leave a note on the door. Gone fishing. All the animals go to the shore. 10 buckets lined up in a row. 10 fish ready to go. Shall we count them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One sleepy farmer rubs his eyes and wakes up to a fishy surprise. The end. Wasn't that a fun one? Should we sing a song? Let's sing a song. Tonight, I thought we would sing one in honor of something that's going to happen. Do you know what is going to happen tonight, boys and girls? There is going to be a supermoon. Isn't that fun? So tonight, we are going to go out at our house and look up at the sky at the supermoon and all of the stars. So I thought what we would sing is one of our favorite songs to sing when we look up at the sky. Do you know this one? It's about our favorite stars. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Isn't that a fun song? We like to sing that one. Are you going to go look at the supermoon tonight? I would love to see pictures. We'll post some pictures of what we see. But would you post a picture for us? You can send it to us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter at Bedtime with Bird. We would love to see it. Should we read our last story tonight? Let's get to it. So this is one that we promised one of our favorite people, Little Miss Charlotte. It feels like 100 years ago, Princess Charlotte. This book is for you. We finally got it. Part-Time Princess. Do you remember? Ours fell apart while we went to read it, and we got one in, and it's just for you, Miss Charlotte. Girl by day, princess by night. And this binder is by Deborah Underwood and illustrated by Cambria Evans. I'm so excited. A magical staircase rolls down from my window. My coach awaits. I tell the driver to hurry because There is usually an emergency. When we arrive, I get right to work. A real princess can slide down a fire pole in a frilly skirt. No one dreams of telling her it's too dangerous. Princess, to the rescue! I save the kingdom as usual. Well, boys and girls, this is fascinating. It turns out this book also is missing pages. Who would have guessed it? Both books missing pages. To be continued. We are going to shift to a new book. And we're going to bring you part 3 of Part-Time Princess next time. I'm so sorry, Miss Charlotte. We're going to shift to A Rock Can Be. Oh my goodness. Take 3 for a Part-Time Princess. A Rock Can Be by Laura Purdy Salas, illustrations by Violetta DiBaggio. A Rock Can Be. A rock is a rock. It's sand, pebble, stone. Each rock tells a story, a tale all its own. A rock can be tall mountain, park fountain, dinosaur bone, stepping stone, volcano flower, night glower, volcano flower, night glower. There we go. That makes more sense, doesn't it? Volcano floats. Lake skimmer, building trimmer, hopscotch marker, fire sparker. Look at all those amazing things a rock can be. A rock is a rock, our earth in your hand, our world's full of rocks, some simple, some grand. A rock can be seaside home, crusty dome. Desert dune, harvest moon. Giant moon. Food grinder, pathwinder. Harbor protector, land connector. Sparkling ring, eagle wing. Book proper, sheep stopper, sheep stopper. A rock is a rock, part of a cliff, road, or sea. Now go and discover what else it can be. More about rocks. Rocks are all around us. You probably see rocks lying on the ground every single day. But they don't just lie around. Rocks have lots of important jobs to do. We use rocks for their beauty and their hardness. And sometimes we just like to have fun with them. How do you use rocks? Tall mountain. Earth's outer layer or crust is made up of 12 massive plates of rocks. Did you know that, boys and girls? That our outer layer is made up of the earth, 12 plates and massive plates of rock? That's so many. That's wonderful. This book has so much information about rocks. A Rock Can Be by Laura Purdy Salas. Thank you. Boys and girls, thank you so much for spending an evening with us tonight. Where should we meet in our dreams this evening? I think we should meet on the moon. That's what I think. Since there's going to be a supermoon tonight, how about we meet all the way up on the moon? I'm going to be an alien. That's what I'm going to be tonight. I'm going to be a pink alien with a big curly Q right on the top of my head so that you can find me. And I'm going to be having a dance party right in the middle of the moon. Do you want to come find me in your dreams and have a dance party with me right in the middle of the moon? It'll be so much fun. I think we'll have a blast together. So tonight, right before you go to sleep, I want you to close your eyes and picture what you'll look like, okay? And then when we meet in our dreams, we'll have a big dance party together. I think it'll be so much fun. Well, thank you so much for spending the evening with us here at Bedtime with Bird. We've enjoyed it so much. You have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow. Our hearts ride with you. We are birds on the same wing. Mazel.